So now we're going to do a step-by-step build of this circuit. The main goal is to fade an LED on and off with this circuit. We are going to fade on and off a red LED. So we're using the LM358. So there's two op amps in this integrated circuit right there, LM358. So we got one that is a Astable multivibrator right there, and output keeps going high and low. And the timing is set by the capacitor, that resistor. We'll get to that. But in any case, we have a voltage follower. The capacitor is going to charge and discharge. I don't know what that is. And the voltage follower here is going to take that voltage and output it because we got negative feedback right there. The output wants to be more like the non-inverting input than the inverting input right there. And so it's going to go up and down as the capacitor charges and discharges within the limits of the outputs, of course. So we have to power the integrated circuit. And we have the positive supply to pin 8, negative supply to pin 4. That powers both op amps. We have the inverting input, as I said before, that's actually down there, the minus, connected to the output. This op amp's one spot lower than that one. I was kind of forgetting that. But we got the output, inverting input, that spot right there. So, red LED, I'm going to put the long lead, the anode, to the positive supply. And I actually put them in the order that we're going to set them. So shorter lead, the cathode, is up one spot right there. We need to limit current through the red LED, and this will connect to ground okay right there. It'd be better to put it to the positive supply for this circuit than to put it to the negative supply, because the output doesn't get to the positive supply as good as the negative supply. Something to be aware of. But in any case, we want to put that to the output right there. We could also put it to the inverting input. That's all one node now, thanks to that little jumper there. It's all the same connection. We have this jumper going to the non-inverting input, the plus right there, and it's going to the inverting input of that op amp over there, which is going to go to the capacitor. So the voltage you give that will be the voltage at the output within the limits of the output. And now let's get to the Astable part of the op amp. And by the way, wherever the lines are connected, that's a connection. I would have used a little jump if they were not connected. I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's the system I used when I drew the schematic. So we have a 10 microfarad capacitor right there. It says 10 microfarad right on it. You can charge it up to 50 volts. That is written right on it. And also there's a gray band right there for the negative side. It's kind of hard to see though on camera. And then for positive feedback, so top left pin, pin number 1 right there is the output, and then the pin right below it is the inverting input, or minus right there. This is a 100,000 ohm resistor right there. So the output is going to charge the capacitor and discharge the capacitor, depending on when it's high charging and low discharging. And charges and discharges through the 100K resistor. So the voltage, the output, the resistor value, and the capacitor value determines the charging speed and final voltages. So now the charging and discharging voltages of the capacitor will be determined by the voltages at the non-inverting input. So first off, we're going to start with a base of half of the supply voltage. So a 10K resistor to the positive supply right there going to the non-inverting input, and a 10K resistor going to the negative supply and the non-inverting input. So right now, if we had power applied, it would be half of the supply voltage. We are going to take the output though and give positive feedback right there. So when the output's high, it's going to raise that voltage. When the output is low, it's going to lower that voltage, and it's going to do so quite a bit, although the output has a limited voltage range, especially when it's drawing current. So I looked at that with an oscilloscope. It went pretty far away from both rails, although it always goes far away from the positive rail. Falls short of, if you're using 5 volts, it's probably going to fall at least a volt short of that. And then when you are providing current to stuff, it may even drift away from the negative voltage. So when I was looking at the oscilloscope, I didn't get all the way to 0 volts. So now, I haven't tested out the circuit yet. We got the power supply. Power is off right now. It's good to keep it off when you're wiring the circuit. I disconnected the alligator clip, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. But now we got the alligator clips. It's still good to have the power off until you're ready to actually power the circuit. And there we go. You can see, looks like the capacitor already had some charge. It lit up pretty quick. Looked like it had stored charge. But in any case, there you can see. You can tell that the capacitor is charging because we got the voltage follower when the LED gets brighter. And then you can tell it's discharging because the LED gets dimmer right there. So that's one way you can look at it. We actually looked at the voltages in the previous video, although my little pocket oscilloscope only has like 1,000,000 ohms of resistance, and it was keeping the capacitor from getting fully charged to where it would get up to the voltage we set at the non-inverting input and then start discharging again. So in any case, kind of went through this quick. They're all topics I covered a lot in other videos. So hopefully it all made sense. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out one of the other videos I'm posting on the screen and check out links down below. They all help out a lot. I'll see you in the next video.